So I think firstly, I'd like to say that teaching with technology is not new to AKU. Since 2011, we have been using blended learning in our teaching. Pre-COVID, about 10% of our faculty were using blended learning approaches and had been trained to use it. This being a 9-month training of converting a face-to-face course to an online course. And about 25% of our faculty had been using technology in their teaching. So using a learning management system like Moodle, flipping their teaching so that readings were online and teaching in the classroom would be less didactic and more about facilitating learning. However, with COVID, we've had to ramp that up from 25% to 100%. And as I said earlier, usually we take 9 months to take a faculty member in a very systematic way to do this. We've had to do this in a couple of weeks. In fact, East Africa is already online. Pakistan is starting in 2 weeks' time on the 1st of June. And so really the questions that we've been coming from faculty is, how do we do it? Now, in reality, what we're talking about right now is quarantine teaching. We're ramping up very rapidly faculty's capacities to teach online. And people say, you know, it's like building a plane whilst flying it. So really, the first question faculty ask is, how do I engage my learner? Now, what we see the world over, and it's the same at AKU, faculty initially will start by mirroring online what they do in the face-to-face setting. But they find over time this is really not working because they're talking to a black box. Where we live, often our videos have to be off because of bandwidth, and they don't have the verbal cues that they usually have in a classroom. And I have actually never seen so much scrutiny on teaching as I see now. So the good thing is faculty are saying, well, how do I know my learners are participating? And I say to them, how do you know in the face-to-face classroom? And they say, well, we measure attendance. Well, attendance doesn't tell you if students are really participating. Just because I'm teaching doesn't mean you're learning. So really the questions they're asking are the same questions they should be asking in the face-to-face setting. How do I engage my learner? How do I know they are learning? So we've had a lot more discussion on assessment and the realization that we need to be assessing for learning as opposed to assessing of learning. So usually we talk about assessment of learning, the grades we're going to give them, but increasingly we're talking about assessment for learning, formative assessment. So those are some of the critical questions. What we have done, noticing as we spoke about earlier, that faculty learn best from their peers. Every Wednesday lunchtime, so today, we run something called an EdTech Lounge. So this is like a brown bag, lunch session that is led by faculty across AKU. We regularly have about 80 faculty attend, and one faculty will talk about their experience in using online learning, what's working for them, what's not working, what are some of the challenges, and together then they spend about 10-15 minutes discussing their scenario, and then we have a discussion and a Q&A, and it's become a really powerful way in which faculty are reflecting on practice. So I hope that as we go beyond COVID, inshallah, teaching won't be the same again. I hope that this engagement in scrutinizing what we do will continue post-COVID. And I hope that online learning will be a part of our everyday practice.